Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In my previous video I did kind of like a study with me type of feeling and I did get a lot of interesting questions under that video about university life and studying in Finland, so I thought I would take the opportunity in this video to go through and answer some of those questions. But before we really dive into those questions, I just want to quickly introduce you to the sponsor of this video, which is Wondershare Document Cloud. So if you head over to the official website for the Document Cloud, you can see the two main features highlighted here are the cloud storage and the electronic signature. You can actually try their free trial. So as long as you have your sign-in details, you can access the storage from any device. So first, I'll just head over to the document cloud and I'll save a file here first. Once it's in the cloud, I can sign in and download these on any device. I can also send documents for e-signature, and how this works is that you have your document you want a signature for, and then you can just straight up email it to any email address. Another fun feature is the PDF Element Pro DC, which is a PDF reader and editor. So this actually has the document cloud within it, so you can look at your PDFs that you've uploaded from the cloud. So whatever PDF files you may have uploaded onto your document cloud, you can download them straight through PDF Element Pro DC onto the software, and then you can not only read the PDFs, edit them, but you can also, from here, you can send them straight to someone's email for an electronic signature. So that was just a brief recap of today's sponsor, Wondershare Document Cloud. Alright, so first up, I've had this question asked a few times before and I have answered them privately, but I thought I would just publicly answer this now. So people have wanted to know from me what were my interview questions when I was applying for my master's degree. So right now I'm studying neuroscience and my interview took place 2 years ago. It was No, I don't think it was January. I applied in January. But the interview was a few months after that, I suppose, so it's been almost 2 years, so I can't remember everything as crisply as I did back then. But what I can tell you is that they definitely asked me why I applied to that program. So what did you find interesting in that degree specifically that made you want to apply? Like, why are you applying? Which I think is a pretty basic question to ask. They also asked me how I thought this program that I'm applying to would benefit me in my future career or future, or like what I want to do in the future. How would this degree benefit me, or how would it be like a stepping stone in what my future aspirations, I guess, are? Another question they asked was why I wanted to live in Finland, or I think they might have more specifically asked why that city. Like, why do I want to live in X city, or why do I want to come to Finland to study? I guess if you're an international student, they might ask that. Then they also asked me about my previous experience regarding programming / statistics. So my course was heavier in that arena than I expected. I mean, I had taken 3 courses worth of statistics at my previous university. Of course, it depends on what degree you're trying to get into, but if you're going for a degree that has a that might have strong statistics or programming that would be beneficial for you, they might ask if you have any experience in that. I don't think not having program experience hindered you in any way, but it's definitely seen as a bonus because, I mean, we did have that programming program. So everybody did kind of start from scratch from that and build up, but I guess they did see it as a benefit. And then of course at the end they asked me if I had any questions, so it's good to have some questions prepared in advance so you can kind of chat with those people. So my interview was a little bit awkward. I did it via Skype, and they had 4 professors. One of them was the program coordinator. They were all kind of sitting in their chairs in a row, and then like there was 4 of them, and then there was me on the other end of the Skype. And I remember they had it so early in the morning, I think, and because of the UK time difference, it was 2 hours earlier for me. So I think it was like 7 a.m. For me. So I just remember it being super awkward because I was used to living in the UK, so I'd had interviews for jobs and stuff in the UK before, and everyone was quite smiley and friendly and very warm. When I was doing my when I was doing my interviews in the UK, you know, the vibe was very different, and even, I guess, if you suck, they're still like quite encouraging to you while you're there. But when I was doing it, really shocked me because I wasn't prepared for how cold the people interviewing me would feel. Like, they didn't really crack any jokes. There was no like small talk in the beginning, or everyone was kind of very serious and nobody smiled, and it was just a very formal atmosphere, I guess, and I just wasn't used to that. So yeah, I thought they hated me, to be honest. When I ended the whole interview, I honestly thought they hated me because they didn't really show much emotion. There was no smiling or laughing or anything like that. It was just like straight to business, and yeah, answering the questions, nothing else. And yeah, that took me by surprise. So just be prepared for that. Of course, you might have different people interviewing you who are a bit warmer or friendlier, but, you know, just be prepared just in case anyways, that it might not mean that they hate you. It's just, you know, how Finnish people can be. So yeah, it wasn't very long. I feel like it was not more than 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes max. And I don't remember any other questions, but yeah, that was the gist of my interview process. And then another question was about what is my lab like? If it was like a purely academic setting, or if I was able to make closer friends with my lab mates or the people running the lab. So essentially, we're expected to work very independently. So my thesis supervisor, although he's in charge, he was at the lab a couple times in the beginning, but essentially nowadays he's never there. So I never see him. I do have meetings via Zoom here and there, but overall, like, he won't be at the lab. We're expected to do everything ourselves. And my lab group's very small, so it's me, another girl from my class, and this girl from the year below me. So it's basically the 3 of us mostly helping each other out and working together. Sometimes one of the girls' husband comes to kind of help a little bit as well. But yeah, with my supervisor, it's been like purely academic. Also, I'm not the type to like try and make very close friends with my supervisor, so I'm a bit standoffish as well. So I guess I don't know what his relationship is like with my other lab mates. I know both of them are definitely in contact with him more than me, but that's just my personality as well. And with my lab mates, I would say, well, the girl in my course, she, like, I get along well with her, but to be honest, we've never done anything outside of school together. I mean, we talk about our personal life and like other things, but yeah, we've never hung out outside of school. The other girl, the year below me, I was actually her tutor. So I was like in the tutor program, and I was, you know, kind of not tutoring. It was like a mentor, I guess, for students that was like just entering the university for their, like, the first couple weeks, like being there to answer questions or helping them settle into university life in Finland. So I was her like tutie, whatever it's called. And so yeah, I talked to her on Skype a couple times, and I've met up with her outside of like the academic context. But yeah. But I do also feel like because of this like pandemic situation, I've mostly been working from home. I haven't really seen anybody outside of like the few times I've been to the lab. Like I think this whole fall I've seen my friends. Some of them I've not seen at all. I saw one girl once, saw somebody in August. Like I really don't socialize a lot anymore. Okay, and then another question was, is there a lot of anxiety in Finnish schools and to the point of like suffering from sleep and stuff? I would say not really. Last year when I just started my master's, I think the first semester was very, very heavy and very, very stressful. It wasn't to the point of losing sleep, but I definitely felt very burnt out and I felt really exhausted from everything. I think that was just poor planning from the course itself. Like it was a new course. That was the second year they had ever run that course. So I feel like they didn't space the credits out good enough. So it was really first semester heavy and it was really, really stressful. We had so much work that first semester. And of course, like you would want your first semester to kind of be like settling into a new system, into a new school, you know, have some time for social life as well, you know, making friends with your classmates and stuff. But we didn't really have the time for that because we just had so much schoolwork to do. You were just too exhausted to even think about socializing with other people. And I think that also then led to me not being as close with my course mates because I would only see them in regard to schoolwork or whatever. And then, you know, now everybody's not even living in the same city anymore. So, like I was saying, the Finnish universities are more lax in the sense you can take an exam up to 3 times. So if you get a poor grade, you have 2 more chances to improve that. And like if you fail an assignment, the teacher will usually, you know, email you back with what you did wrong and what you need to include in your report to, you know, get it to a passing level. I would say almost half of my classes are pass-fail, so you don't have to worry about getting a good grade, you just have to worry about passing. So in that sense, I guess if you're aiming for PhD, those people have been a bit more stressed out because they really want like top grades to get into like the top PhD programs. For me, I don't plan on doing PhD at least right away, so I haven't been too stressed out about like what grades I'm getting. I'm just like focusing on passing my degree. So for me, the most stressful part was just like the really heavy workload in the beginning and now my thesis, because my thesis is a bit of a mess just because of all the delays and having to change topics. But besides that, I think it's been pretty manageable. Someone asked like reasons to study in Finland and they're planning to do their master's here. I would say in general, the biggest pros I could come up with was the no tuition fee for EU citizens. So the tuition is completely free of charge. The tuition for international students can be a lot cheaper than in other countries, so it does depend on what degree you're applying for, but usually it's around 6,000 to 16-ish thousand euros. Usually there is scholarship opportunities for international students, so just make sure you're on a lookout for those when you're applying and doing your application. I did see in my degree as I was doing my own application that they had a scholarship section in the application form itself. And some of my course mates did get full scholarships for their first and second year, and I don't think it's like extremely difficult to get either. There is a lot of access to nature and the air is very clean here. So definitely if you enjoy being in nature, being in the forest, being around lakes, this kind of thing, Finland definitely has loads of opportunities for that. There's also a 1-year post-study visa. So after you graduate, you do have 1 year after your graduation date to stay in Finland and have the chance to look for jobs and just stay in Finland in general. I would also say Finland is a pretty safe country. Also, everyone pretty much speaks English, so you don't have to be fluent in Finnish when you come over. Also, in general, I would say the universities here are pretty relaxed about their rules. And at least in my class, we did have a lot of say about how the courses are run, and the teachers were in general quite open to feedback. Like if we wanted to change exam dates, we were able to do that, or if we wanted to change the assessment method, or if we thought we would like something added to the course, the teachers were usually very receptive to that, and usually we would be able to convince the teachers to run the course that would benefit the students best. I don't know if that's just because my course is very new or if this is a general trend, and you can get a more general idea of that in my UK versus or like Scotland versus Finnish universities video. And this also kind of goes along with the next point that you do get 3 tries to pass or increase your grade on your exam, which definitely wasn't the case in any of the other universities I've attended. And I also feel like the professors are way more approachable. I think if you're coming from abroad, I would urge you to research Finnish culture and Finnish climate, because I do know a lot of foreign students can struggle with the climate, especially if they're not exchange students and here for a short time, if they're doing their full degree here. Being here for like, 4 or 5, however many years, it can take a toll on you if you're not used to, this kind of higher latitude climate where the winters are very, very, very dark and very cold depending where you're coming from. And also just the Finnish culture is a bit more standoffish and closed off compared to other cultures. Another thing I would want you to kind of look into is cost of living. Student housing here is pretty cheap. So the place I'm living in is like 260 a month euros. So that's like half the price that I was paying in the UK. So yeah, I'd say student housing is like between 200 to 600, depending how nice of a place you want. But in general, cost of living, like groceries, traveling to Finland, there's not really any budget airlines that fly here, really. So you're going to be paying more for flights, you're going to be paying more for groceries, eating out, transportation, stuff like this isn't very cheap in Finland. Just because also finding a job as a student, if you don't speak Finnish, can be a bit challenging. So I would just keep that in mind, like just realistically. But yeah, I'm just gonna wrap this up because Sydney is not happy at all and I should go entertain her, I guess. But hopefully that somewhat answered those questions. You can always feel free to leave more in the comments below. And I guess that just about concludes this video, so till next time.